Good morning. I've titled this video, If Anyone Loves the World, the Love of the Father is Not in Him. And I want to start this by reading some quotes from a little booklet by Watchman Nee. When he brings it out so well, he says it so well. And if you haven't read this little booklet, it's free online. You can download it. It's called Love Not the World. These three definitions of the world, one, speaking of the definitions of the world in the New Testament, one, the material earth or universe, two, the people on the earth, and three, the things of the earth, each contribute something to the whole picture. It will be apparent, it will already be apparent that behind them all is something more. The classical idea of orderly arrangement or organization helps us to grasp what this is. Behind all that is tangible, we meet something intangible. We meet a planned system. And in this system, there is a harmonious functioning, a perfect order. For as the verse in John 12:31 shows, the world is under judgment. God's attitude to it is uncompromising. This is because, as the same verse makes clear, there is a mind behind the system. There is then an ordered system, the world, which is governed from behind the scenes by a ruler, Satan. When in John 12:31 Jesus states that the sentence of judgment has been passed upon this world, he does not mean that the material world or its inhabitants are judged. For them, judgment is yet to come. What is there judged is that institution, that harmonious world order of which Satan himself is the originator and head. This consideration may help us to understand better the passage in 1 Peter 3 alluded to above. There the apostle sets the outward adorning, cosmos, okay, the outward adorning, the cosmos, we get our word cosmetic from the Greek word for world, cosmos. The outward adorning, cosmos, of plaiting the hair and of wearing jewels and gold or of putting on apparel, he sets this in deliberate contrast with the incorruptible apparel of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of great price. By inference, therefore, the former are corrupt and worthless to God. We may or may not be ready at once to accept Peter's evaluation, depending upon whether we see the true import of his words. Here is what he is implying. In the background, behind these matters of wearing apparel and jewelry and makeup, there is a power at work for its own ends. Do not let that power grip you. Okay? Now, this isn't about, whether you wear jewelry or makeup or anything. I think what he's trying to get at here, what Watchman Nee is saying here, is that behind these things, what he's saying that Peter is saying in his epistle is that behind those things there is a power. Do not let that power grip you. How important is that? How important is this truth? That there is a world system. There is a harmonious working order behind what we see, behind things like banking and business and education, all of the systems of the world, every system, even the things that we need, like law enforcement, you name it, all of the ordered systems of the world, okay, have a power behind them. And that power is ruled by Satan. Okay, that power is ruled by Satan. Even, things that, like I said, things that we need, things that keep the world functioning. At the end of the day, these systems are ruled by Satan. They absolutely are. That's the Bible. That's the Bible. That's why these systems cannot make it over into the millennium. Okay, that's why none of these systems that we use, that we depend on, at the end of the day, Adam gave this world over to Satan, and Satan, while he's been judged, the judgment has been passed on Satan. Okay, he's still currently ruling these systems. And we have to understand that. We have to understand that while we function within this world and we have to function within these systems, all of the systems of the world, all of the orderly arrangement, okay, of this world is underneath a ruler. That's Satan. Now, this folks is basic New Testament. This is basic New Testament, and it's not taught anymore. And because it's not taught, uh, people have become infected by the world. I'm just thinking about right now the Christian music scene. The Christian music uh, scene's not the right word, but you know what I'm talking about. The Christian music industry. Uh, I look at it and I see a lot of anointed people, called by the Lord, and they begin with a good heart and good motives, and they don't mean, I don't believe, they don't mean to turn or to swerve into a wrong path, but because they don't understand that they've submitted themselves to a system, okay? They do. They become corrupted. They weren't aware of the power behind the system, and they let that system grip them. Just like in the quote I just read, they weren't aware. They didn't discern that there is a power behind these world systems, and it gripped them, and now it's using them for its ends. Can anyone argue with this? I mean, I look at these Christian musicians now, and they dress like prostitutes. I'm sorry, you know, some of them they dress like the world. Even and not just the women, but the guys, and they take on a sensuality, and they use spirits of lust now. Even singing about the Lord, and it's just a mess. It's awful. It's awful. I don't want to have anything to do with it. And you know, not just Christian. We could just go across the board. You know, Western Christianity. You know, these high profile churches. Some of these famous churches. You know, you look at them and it's like a rock concert or whatever, and you might say, well, there's nothing wrong with this or there's nothing wrong with that. And in, you know, the micro level, that's true. It's not sin to do X, Y, and Z. That's not the sin. Um, what I'm what the sin is that there's a power behind the system, and that people are touching the system and they are gripped by its power. Okay, they're gripped by its power. The sin is not you know, whatever, using a fog machine, right, you know, for your worship service, or doing this or wearing this. The point that I'm trying to make is that there is a power called the world. The New Testament shows that there is a world order that has a power, and it is an unseen power, and it moves behind the scenes, directing Satan's agenda. And if you're not aware of that, you're going to be caught by that power. Okay. And because what's being taught now is, you know, X, Y, and Z aren't sin, you know, or aren't necessarily sin, people say, well, oh, I can do these things. I can do these things. I can, for example, I can go out to a bar and I can drink because drinking's not sin, right? Jesus drank. Now that's true. That's true. Drinking's not sin. It doesn't mean it's wise to do. I don't drink anymore, and I wouldn't encourage people to drink. But we can see from the New Testament, drinking's not sin. Um, but I've seen these people. I know Christians, and because they have this sort of anti-legalistic legalism on them, they think I can go out to bars and drink. I can go out and do these things because it's not sin. But the point is not whether it's sin or not. The point is that you're bringing yourself underneath a system which has a power, and that system and that power will grip you because you're not aware of it. And because or maybe on some internal level you are aware of it and you just don't care, it will grip you, and it will begin to move and direct your life. And I have seen this time and time again. People, they get free of a little bit of legalism in one area, but then they go rushing into the world, and now they're controlled by the world. They're controlled by these demonic systems, and they don't know it. And it's awful. It's awful. I have many friends that are like that. Many friends. They got free of some legalism, but now they're absolutely controlled by this invisible system, which the Bible calls the world. So let's just read a few scriptures here. I find that just reading plain scriptures really begins to break the power. If people will listen, it begins to break the power of the world off of people, because they can begin to see, man, my life does not line up with these basic scriptures. So let's look at this one scripture I think is really good. Do not love the world, nor the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Doesn't matter what you say. Doesn't matter how nice you are. Doesn't matter how kind you are. Doesn't matter what kind of sentimental, soulish, emotional front you have in your life with which you relate to people. If you love the world, the love of the Father, the true love of God is not in you. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but it's the truth. It's the truth. You cannot love the world and have the genuine supernatural love of the Father in you. Those things are incompatible. To the degree that the love of the world has gripped your soul, you will not have the love of the Father. And that, is it any wonder we see such a lack in the church of genuine passion for Jesus, of genuine, of a desire to, for example, go to a prayer meeting and give our hearts out to the Lord and lift our hands to Him. And, I see sometimes in churches, especially the young people, but the older people too, and there's such a spirit on them. They can't lift their hands to the Lord. They can't worship the Lord. There's a shame on them. There's a holding back on them from giving their heart to the Lord. And I know what it is. They've been gripped by the power of the world. They've been gripped by the power of the world, and they can't give themselves to the Lord. The love of the Father is not in them. The love of the Father. Now, they might want to do good. They might have a sense of wanting to love people, and they might, sacrifice, because they know it's the right thing to do. But that genuine love of the Lord is not in them, because they've been infected by the world. Listen, we have to become disinfected by the world. You have to cut off. You have to discern the spirit of the world and cut it off from your life. If you want the real supernatural love of the Lord to flow freely from your life, if you want to be able to go into your prayer closet and lift your spirit man up to the Lord and hear Him and commune with Him, you have to cut the world out of your life. You have to, okay? It's not a matter of things being sin or not sin. It's a matter of, like I said, the power behind the system will grip you, and it will steal your passion for the Lord. It will steal your ability to commune in the Spirit with the Lord. Okay? And for all of this talk about that, this cliche, well, it's relationship, not religion. Okay? Yeah, but that relationship means practically that when you go into your bedroom and you shut the door and you close your eyes, or however you do it, and you are communing, okay, with the Lord in a spiritual dimension. If this other spiritual dimension of the world is crowding out, is infecting your soul and has overtaken your soul, you can't commune with the Lord. You can't have a relationship with the Lord on a practical level. It's just, this is just something people say to assuage their mind. Okay, relationship, not religion. It comforts their mind, but at the end of the day, many of these people who say this, I can look at their lives. They don't have a relationship with the Lord because they're unable to, because they're gripped by the world. Okay, gripped by the world. All right, here's another verse, James 1:27. Pure and undefiled religion is this, to visit orphans and widows. Right? That's good. We need to do these things. All right? He brings out some practical things we need to do. And to keep yourself unstained by the world. Okay? Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this age, or the rulers of this age, etc., etc. Now, this is a word. It's not cosmos. This is a word, age, translated in the New Testament. I can't Inos, I think maybe it's pronounced. But these words, age and cosmos, are used in a couple places interchangeably. 1 Corinthians 1:20 says, "Where is the wise? Where is the scribe, the debater of this age?" Same word. "Has not God made foolish the wisdom of this world?" So we can see from that verse and another couple verses that uh, often in the New Testament the word age uh, and world are used interchangeably. Good to know. The Bible speaks about this present evil age. I believe in Galatians 1:1. 1 Corinthians 2:6. "We speak a wisdom not of this age, nor of the rulers of this age who are passing away." So there is an age. The world is both this orderly arrangement and system, and it's also connected to a time period. Okay, this age. The God of this age, 2 Corinthians 4:4, the God of this age has blinded the minds of the unbelieving. Okay? The God of this age has blinded the minds of the unbelieving. I mention this verse because there's a teaching circulating that Satan is currently bound, right? Currently bound, that he doesn't really have power right now. This is just ridiculous. I've talked about this. I won't go into it today. We're not in the millennium. We're in what the Bible calls this present, Galatians 1:4, this present evil age. I looked that up in the Greek this morning. Present is there in the Greek. It means present, right? It means the same thing, present. This present evil age. Ephesians 2:2, it speaks about the course of this world in which you formerly walked, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit, turn my page, that is now presently working in the sons of disobedience. So I won't make this video any longer, but I think that I got out what I wanted to get out, that people need to be taught again what it means, what the world is, that there is a thing in the New Testament called the world, the cosmos. It is an orderly arrangement of events. And I want to just close this. I just want to read this quote one more time. I think it's so powerful. And close with this. In the background, behind the scenes, there is a power at work for its own ends. Do not let that power grip you. Amen. I think that's good stuff. Hopefully this has been informative, encouraging to you, and something that you can use and look back on and go on and search these matters out for yourself. I think that'll be a blessing to you. All right. Have a good day.